interestingly enough,
If it's overhead,
if it's overhead and it's continuous, like it's.
you're
bright,
okay.
I'm okay, it's when there's like.
Yeah.
Like a light, like in there.
Like in there where there's like little
Hanging.
hanging like ones, but yeah. Okay. So yeah, I thought about that. I'm like, oh, it's pretty bright in there. We can go half for you if you need to, so.
So, yeah, it can totally do.
I'm like, I'm like, I can only do half of it, yeah.
Other than that, how have you been?
Ooh, good, yeah, it's
So my pulse out there.
how do you? My
It's
in-laws,
a little one.
oh, there we go.
Great.
Yeah, my in-laws just got in from Idaho.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I coded for Easter, which is really cool.
That sounds nice.
So then we're coloring Easter eggs
Ah.
tonight.
Grill?
Girls, my parents are at the ball fields for my niece and nephew's game, then they're heading back over.
Yeah.
However long you wanna go here, like.
In-laws at home.
I don't know.
It's a good one.
Probably not tonight.
We need to get that on record.
No. I should lunch again.
Are the girls well?
Yeah, they're,
It
everything's
helps a
good,
lot.
thanks, they're, yeah, we like swim,
that's good.
spring swim, softball,
Yeah,
school,
so we didn't have to.
and they're both out.
No, and then
We're gonna go to
that's why I
Casa
did-
Robles for,
But because I'm like, oh, it's so
Spring
much
break.
easier.
We haven't been doing it.
Well, we were
Do you
trying
want
it, but
wine
it wasn't
tasting right
working.
and maybe.
And then
Yeah, it wasn't working, and then I
And
saw,
we tried
Talking about,
to
we
get
make
I
it
saw
fun for
a
the
note
kids,
that
you
said,
know,
in order to do
I think we're gonna
timestamps,
rent like
you
a
have to
limo,
watch
and
them.
the kids have never been.
And we
on
were
it.
just doing it to the minutes,
And-
and we thought that was what would work, but, and for some reason, I never saw
Yeah.
that before, did I need to get
This
that?
wasn't
Now,
there
you've spent time in Paso Robles, haven't
Maybe
you, Tom?
because you could
Yeah.
like
Wine
presentation.
tasting
No.
and wine?
Cause that used to be there, so this. is probably
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had to go into the
See.
agenda.
Any
to get
horseback riding? in there?
Presentation, but if you just go to the
I don't
launch
think that's
meeting when it's
The
time.
plan, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's.
We'll see, we're kind of
Yeah.
flying by the seat of our pants,
But
at
maybe
this place
it's
called
because
Casa
the data,
Robles,
But
that
like you said, I.
a couple
Yeah, you
that we're
do.
going with, they have, their
So then
daughters
I
are the
was
same
just
age.
thinking,
And it's like, you rent these, there's like 70 houses or like cottages, and they have like roof terraces, and so we're like, you know, like next to each other, and then our other friends are coming down with their RV. So there's an RV, but then there's like a pool and restaurant, it's like a whole little.
Where is it?
The village.
Casa Robles.
Oh, that's where it was?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's nice out there.
Yeah, I love that.
Are there swimming pools?
nice.
yeah, they have a pool, has a bar, has a restaurant,
Finish my dinner.
food service.
No, I had a granola bar.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I don't have time to go.
No.
Wine
I
tasting.
have little snacks in my drawers.
It's busy, yeah.
Nice.
Tomorrow starts, well, today
You,
actually, it's spring break.
I don't know if you
Oh,
have
yeah.
any.
The kids are off
Any
and
wineries or anything?
I'll be joining them soon.
Sorry.
In downtown Paso, there's a tasting room called, it's LXV. And I used to be a wine club member. It's
where's that
an
located?
Indian couple and
Arcata,
a
actually.
female winemaker, female Indian winemaker. And they do really
we
interesting
went to
tastings,
Encino.
they give you like, they pair spices, different spices
Yeah.
with their
Oh, with the.
Penny's.
with wine to kind of, to go with them, and so super. It's interesting because it's a, you know,
For her, years
there's
of
not a lot of
service
Indian
and,
wine, you know,
you
from
know,
India,
special
winemakers
recognition for
and
contributions to the
females,
sport.
and they're actually have really good
Well,
wines.
it's kind of a
What's
local.
it called?
LXV.
So
LXV.
we'll be up there with a bunch of our friends. In fact, one of them just flew in and
Oh.
we're gonna go drive up with her.
Is it
to,
Casa or Cava?
Humboldt tomorrow.
Casa.
That's where I'm going.
Just Casa.
Scrambling to find out, you know how it is like.
There's
Okay.
one
So
for
you're like
Casa.
work so you can take off and enjoy
By the
the
fire pits there,
vacations. Try and get
the
ready. to
Cava
go.
Robles RV Resort
I think that's, yeah.
Okay, I'm
and
gonna,
glamping.
Yeah, it's like
that's a plan. I'm gonna start
Well,
recording.
tomorrow is
I'm gonna
Caesar Chavez
start-
Day,
right,
so
I'm
that's-
recording.
I looked at the minutes.
Mhm.
It was just about the one holiday.
The one holiday and then the briefing, yeah, that's it.
Okay, sorry.
That's it.
Got it.
Nice. When are you guys doing that?
Monday.
Oh, for the,
Right, right, yeah, we're there Monday through. What did we have? Monday through Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're going to Pismo Beach. Yeah.
We went south and then come back.
Go to the guy south and we'll go.
I did that, last October, we went to, October before, we went to Paso for the weekend and then went down to Pittsville and stayed and came back. So.
Yeah.
I have this really good distillery in San Luis Obispo, San Luis. It's called Crowbar, Kroear. You're in San Luis, or on your way. It's stop in San Luis.
Yeah, literally, my sister was in Santa Barbara, all I did, when I drove down to see
Yeah,
her friends, all I knew is there was an In and Out and a Tascadero.
Yep.
And then fast as I could get to Isla Vista.
Yeah, your sister's an alum as well,
I missed
huh?
this whole like beautiful part of the state.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, cause you went down 5 and then cut
Yeah,
across.
it's
Missed it.
That was my 4 years going back and forth.
Yeah.
I got you.
Shoot, I lost my-
It's impressive people
I was,
graduate.
yeah, it wasn't a drinker until, I didn't drink until I was 25, so it was
Oh.
much easier.
Oh, you're much easier that way.
Much easier that way. Yeah.
Town's been real slow, so I might have to.
Oh, it's gonna have lunch later.
Yeah, it's just I can't pull up the agenda on the tablet, it's just spinning. So let me try my computer.
Right. Good evening. We're gonna call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors for the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District for Thursday, March 28th, 2024. And looking around, I'd like to just indicate for the record that all directors are present. Next is item 2, the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see. Director Bernardo, would you lead us in the pledge? Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Move on to item 3, public comment. Do we have any public comment for items not on the agenda?
Nope, we have not received any public comments.
Okay. Then we'll close public comment and move on to item 4, reports and presentations. Our
Ex officio has a conflict. She has a cheer stunt competition this evening, so
we'll have
she's on the stunt team, so they have a game tonight.
We'll have to catch up with her and see how that went, hopefully at the next meeting. So we'll move on to item 4.2, report from the general manager.
Great, thank you, Chair Vincent. I included a brief staff report. Last one was a little heftier, but there wasn't as many things going on. Next week is spring break, so there's a lot of people who are gone. But I did want to highlight a couple of things. One was the Pocket Park update. So the board had decided to not accept the Pocket Park. We went back to the Land and Facilities Committee, and the direction was to try to get the city to approve removal of the 2 dying trees. I'm pleased to say that the city did agree to that. And they're working with Devinon on the replacement trees. 2 trees will go back into the same spot that they are, new trees, oak trees. And then Tom's working with Devinon on 2 additional replacement trees. So that was, so I'm very pleased with that. So that will come back to the board for acceptance at a later date. So we'll discuss that at that time. But I just wanted to let you know where we were on that. With Susie's transition, the trainings and things that are due. Ethics training is due for a number of you. It's every 2 years. So OSA is planning one for May 16th. It's a Thursday non-board meeting day at 6 p.m. And so I will send something out about that and put that on your calendar if you can make it. And then it will be board and then the management staff that are also required to report as well. So that will be done. It's a 2-hour training. And then I sent an email. I'm hosting a volunteer meeting to to identify potential community members and volunteers who may be interested in helping us pass a future bond measure. That date is 4/9/24 at 6 p.m. I am requesting that board members do not attend as I don't want to post that, and I'm speaking directly to community members, but I do ask if you have community members that are on your list that you follow up with them or send them the email that I sent you. There is an RSVP link in that as well. I sent that to over 50 people today, so hopefully we'll get a good turnout for that. So just wanted to give you that. Then the last thing I have, which is bittersweet, is tomorrow is Susie's last day with the district after 21 years. The staff was able to put together a very nice going away party for her today. I appreciate the board members who were able to squeeze that into their schedule. But Susie has been a valuable asset to our district for the last 21 years. Of course, I was here for less than a third of that, about 6 years. We've worked together, and it's been my pleasure. She will definitely be missed. But as a surprise to Susie, because I didn't want to put it on the agenda, we have a proclamation that I'm going to ask Chair Vincent to read and to present to Susie. So that would be great.
Okay, and then after the proclamation, I'll give each of you the opportunity to make some comments. Okay. In the matter of Proclamation 2024-328, honoring Susie Kubota, the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District Board of Directors does find, whereas Susie was hired with the district in March 2003 as the executive secretary supporting the general manager, district office customer service operations, as well as the board of directors. And whereas she has been a valuable asset to the district with her can-do attitude, team spirit, professionalism, and outstanding customer service. And whereas she has always been the first member of the team to jump in and help others complete tasks and staff events such as Blues and Brews, Holiday Festival, Haunted Trail, Tinkers and Thinkers, and the Camp Expo. And whereas she has impacted the lives of thousands of participants, families, and staff through her thoughtfulness, commitment to providing a wow experience, and passing around the office birthday cards for signature. And whereas for 21 years, Susie has been the go-to person in the district for historical facts and assistance when needed. Susie is a very kind, caring, and wonderful person, and she will be missed by her district family. And now therefore be it resolved, the Pleasant Hill Recreation and Park District Board of Directors does hereby congratulate Susie Kubota for her 21 years of dedication and commitment to the district and to this community, proclaimed by the Board of Directors on March 28th, 2024.
Thank you.
I hear she took a picture laying across the top. of the
Did she?
table.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. I didn't get you. You're good. Susie, I didn't know where the seal was. You're gonna have to put that on yourself.
Oh.
I didn't want to, and you're gonna have to tell me where they are when you. I didn't want to ruin the surprise, so there's a place for the seal. I just.
She's irreplaceable.
So because we did that now, I thought it was more appropriate to make some comments that the board may want to do. So I'm going to start with Director Bernardo.
Oh, okay. Well, irreplaceable really is a word here. You know, your position is unlike many others in the district, which is the fact that you've been of service to all of us. Every director that has served on this board for all this number of years that you've been doing this. I think I will miss the green sherbet and
All right,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it was a 7-Up Sprite.
Yeah.
Okay,
Punch,
yeah, refreshments that you supplied forever and ever. but also just every time I've needed something, I pick up the phone and, it's got Susie Kubota, on my, not quite speed dial, but I know how to find you. And you always answer and you always have the answers. Behalf of Jim as well, who has noticed for a long time that you are always present, always doing things, always volunteering, always there. He's just kind of a representative, I think, of the public, beyond what the board is, to say that, how much we have appreciated all the work that you've done and all of the love that you've given to this district for so many years.
I'm trying to not cry.
Director Glover.
Yeah, no, I mean, everything that was said in the resolution and then even today, I mean, the thing that stuck out to me was just the volunteerism. It's like, working here and being a part of the Rec and Park family, it's like, I think you embodied everything that was great about that. I mean, you were the person carrying stuff to an event, you were the person volunteering at event, you were the person here after hours, before hours. I mean, every time I had the opportunity to come into the office, you were smiling, you were happy. It was just like, you were just a warm greeting, like right from your first interaction, from my first interaction with the Rec and Park board. So and all of that will be missed deeply, but I selfishly, I mean, I've missed it the last several years, but you watched my kids grow up from the front step, when your car would pull up, whether it was the dogs, the kids, like everybody got excited. I just, and I just relish that opportunity to have, to find out, especially during COVID, it was like, to hear like what was going on or like what was happening and to, I just, everything. And then, it's Sandy also on behalf of Jim, on behalf of Nicole, who was, like watched me, fumble through signing kids up for stuff and always like, I'm gonna call Susie, let me call Susie.
Yeah.
Why don't I call Susie? But yeah, you for the last two, decades, I mean, you've been part of everything that's great that has happened here and played a huge role in that. And so can't thank you enough for that. I mean, you will be missed.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Direct
and
reports.
whereas I could probably add a few more of those to the list. No, I even though like our time together has been relatively short, I've just found that the same thing, you've just been such an approachable person and helping keep us organized and everything else. It's a pleasure to have worked with you over this time, and I would wish you well in your retirement, but I kind of wish you would like to stay, so no, I've really appreciated having the opportunity to get to know you and work with you, and I hope that your future endeavors are exciting as well.
Vice Chair Tran.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can add a lot more than what everybody else already said. I actually first met, because I started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so the first person I actually physically met was you, dropping food off to my house because, we were doing some of those meetings and we had, you brought, lunch. I think it was our retreat, the virtual
Yeah,
retreat, right? So
retreat.
you're the first person I met in person. And just like Bobby said as well too, my daughter was very young, and then Cynthia, you've kind of stopped by a few times and we've done some vlogs and everything. And I was sort of kidding with my daughter because when she asked me, what does Susie do? Right? I go, why? He goes, she's always so she's always smiling and laughing, and I want to do what she does when I can.
That's cute.
And so now I told her that I heard that you were retired. She goes, oh, yeah, Susie's retired. And he goes, what? I was going to intern for her.
Oh, cute.
But anyways, I do appreciate all the things that you've done over the years. I also appreciate helping me as well. Just when I needed something on either signing up or doing other types of things, you were easy to reach as well too. So best of luck in this next chapter of yours. Wish you the best.
What an exciting time. And of course, what I heard there earlier was, she says, well, I'm gonna volunteer at the senior center, so you'll see me around.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
So, we'll see.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to hold off because spring break, I might be going somewhere. with
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah, but I think we will see you, Susie. I hope we do. It's been a delight, and also, Alan sends you his best wishes also. I think you knew him before you knew me. But
That's right.
yeah, I think so. It's just been starting in the pandemic as we did, it was odd, and it was, just, okay, now what do we do? Well, it was always, if we were sending emails back and forth, and, Michelle would say, well, just, you can ask Susie that, or she'll do this, or she'll do that. So I've appreciated that. It's been a delight to work with you and be able to, get to know you better. I was glad to see your husband and your daughter there today. That was exciting. I'm sure they're both very excited for whatever the next chapter is of your life. So best wishes to you and your family, and whatever it is, enjoy it. And I know that when we see you, you'll still have that smile on your face. So thank you very much.
Can we have the recipe, by the way?
The sherbet
The
punch.
sherbet, the sherbet
Oh, sure.
punch.
Yeah, it's just Sprite, sherbet, rainbow
It was
sherbet.
just the right kind, right.
I know, it's
right
very-
sherbet, yeah.
It's a rainbow sherbet and Sprite.
It's very,
And some ice.
it's very
Refreshing, yeah.
Okay,
Do you wanna say anything?
did you want to say anything?
Sure, short and sweet. But I really enjoyed working with all of you. I'm kind of that person that always likes to do everything and kind of go out of my way. But for me, it's not going out of my way, it's just the way I am. So I've really enjoyed working for the board, everyone that I've worked here with the district, and Michelle, and I'm gonna miss everyone, but I just felt it was time to, start a new chapter in my life and kind of semi-retire. I, may look, I've been looking at other districts, but it's kind of my health and things were, not doing so good. So I thought, it's time for me to maybe take a little break and then see how things are. So I am looking forward to a new chapter in my life and new adventures, but I will definitely have my heart here with the district. I mean, my kids were only 3 and 5,
Oh my
5 years old when I first started. So, some of the older, like Clodie that worked here, she's like, oh my gosh, Abby, it's like, she's 26 now, so it's, they've grown up with the district. And voluntold earlier when Michelle at the party was saying, I kind of voluntold my family, there are times I'm like, Phil, you're gonna wear Booze and Brews, right? Come on. And Kyler was in middle school and I'm like, we need help at the camp out. So he was doing registration and putting the little wristbands on the kids so it's, I did always drag my kids into it, but I think they enjoyed it. They liked it too. And it was a joy and a pleasure, having them grow up here and me growing up in over 20 years here. So, but I am looking forward to volunteering at the senior center or for the events still. So you'll still see me.
Well, it'll be great to see you.
And thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay. We will move on to item 5, which is the consent calendar. So on the consent calendar, we've got our typical warrants, the minutes, and item 5.3 is approving a resolution for some surplus equipment. Does anybody have any questions on the consent calendar, or would someone like to make a motion?
I just, one thing, for the surplus equipment, I noticed there's a lot of, equipment, for the park maintenance. And I guess, I'm just thinking, going forward, if we're looking at, potentially replacing that equipment with, some, energy efficient type of, stuff, because nowadays it's harder and harder to find some of the, equipment that's, the gas equipment. I think that's all going to battery and stuff. So just kind of wondering, strategies there in terms of going with the.
Most of these have already been replaced.
Yeah,
So,
that's-
but yes,
yeah.
but there is a law on the books that we will need to be compliant with that. in the
Yeah, starting to
future.
go
So,
towards
yeah.
that. That's the only little comment I had. Otherwise, I guess I'd like to motion to approve the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Bernardo seconded. All in favor?
Right.
Motion passes.
And it's that Susie thing.
There it is.
Sorry, should I wait then?
No, we're gonna miss it.
Yeah, we'll shake it. Okay, I forgot to do public comment on the consent calendar. Did
You
you
don't
have
have
any public comment?
No,
So
we got
we'll open and close it. Thank you very much. And we will move on to item 6, which are the action items. First one is 6.1. Michelle, you wanna?
Yes, so this item is for the district to identify their chosen candidate for the Contra Costa LAFCO election for the special district regular member seat. If you remember, last year, about the same time, we identified our choice for the alternate member. This is the regular member seat. There are 2 candidates. I have included the letter, the candidate statements, what they had sent out in the official ballot. The 2 nominees are the incumbent, Mike McGill from the Central Contra Costa Sanitary District, of which our service area is part of that district. So that is good. And then John McKenzie from the Crockett Community Services District, which is a little smaller. But tonight, the board needs to identify who their preferred candidate is, and then Chair Benson will vote on our behalf, as she is our identified proxy. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions before I open it for public comment? Which we probably don't have any.
No vote.
No public comment. All right, we'll close that. Do we have any questions or any? Does anybody know Mike McGill? I think I've met him at one of the meetings.
Certainly. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I know Mike real well. One of the first interactions I had with him on the Rec and Park Board was when he was really involved with Central Sand bringing the recycled water and making an effort to, get it to the parks. And we had a partnership with them at the time, which was fantastic and has continued to my knowledge. And yeah, he's usually, I think even in the past, we've submitted a letter recommending it, nominating.
Support.
Yeah, so.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? And we can.
The only thing that I would say would be, I found both the letters disappointing because they didn't really explain how they would apply their experience or their abilities to the LAFCO decisions that they have to make. But it is what it is. And so I would certainly, we can entertain discussion about what LAFCO does. So, if either the newer members of the board wanted more information about that in order to apply that experience. But I think Mike McGill has done, I have any reason to object that, anything he's done as the incumbent. And he is a very engaged individual. And so I think for that reason, we should give him our support. But that's, just if you had questions.
Yeah.
I would just add to the other thing is that more recently, Mike and the LAFCO board has been supportive of the sphere of influence items that have come up regarding the Recreation and Park District. So not to say that John McKenzie would not, but I think it just shows a pattern of, that's what I was same thing. I was wondering, is there an issue here? Are they differentiating themselves from one another? And both excellent credentials, but.
Yeah, that was the only thing. I tend to lean towards, the Mike, because of his, being in our same sort of area, Central Sand, for which we're a customer. And then the other thing is, with John, I felt as though he has maybe, the experience on the recreation side of the house can maybe kind of represent our, needs a bit, from that perspective. But, my leanings was towards. So.
Any comments? Would anyone, I'll entertain a motion for selecting one so I can check in the appropriate box.
I'll motion, that we support Mike McGill as our LAFCO representative.
Okay, Director Glover second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will check that box, and I think they are allowing us to scan it and email.
Yeah, we did scan it. So if you just check the box and give it to me, I'll scan it and email it for you. So it just needs your signature on it. So.
Okay, I will do that. All right. Second item under action items is 6.2, and that is adopting our updated employee personnel policy handbook. We had a good discussion about that at our last meeting, and Michelle has given us kind of a summary of what that was at the last meeting.
Yeah, the direction of the board at the last meeting was clear in that you wanted to try to keep apples for apples as far as benefit levels go for employees with the update of the policy handbook, and that we would look at additional benefits at a later time. So at the time, staff had, or actually the personnel committee had recommended an additional holiday because the floating holidays, we had removed the flexibility. But it was, it was noted that, we have, 13 holidays total, 11 and plus the 2 floating. So staff is recommending that we just keep 13, which means that we added Juneteenth and New Year's Eve. So that is reflected in this update. I will note, I did get a question. I will note that that no employees felt or communicated to me or gave me any indication that keeping it at the 13 was going to be a hardship for them, or they didn't feel that that was appropriate. What they did express was that previously when I had suggested that we add a floating holiday in, when we were doing floating holidays instead of Juneteenth, they were very adamant that they wanted the district to recognize Juneteenth. So that they didn't want that. They wanted the district to recognize that holiday. So I think the employees at this point in time will be they would be amenable to just keeping it at 13. Most of them take New Year's Eve off anyways. And you have to use a vacation day, so now they won't have to do that, or a floating holiday, but usually people use their floating holidays quickly. They're kind of like extra vacation days. And then the other thing, the question was about bereavement. It wasn't clear. It is an unpaid benefit, but it wasn't clear to the board at the time that people could use their vacation or sick time. So I reworded that. I am not making a recommendation, while it might not feel great, of making that paid in addition to the leave we already get. Because by state law now, I can't limit it to full-time employees like we could before. And so the impact would be much greater, especially for the large number of seasonal employees. And state law requires us to give them 40 hours already of sick time, which can't be used for bereavement. So that is, those are the only 2 significant changes. Everything else stays the same. But I did want to comment that if the board adopts this evening by a 4/5 vote, it will become effective on 4/1/2024. So we will roll that out to the employees. So with that, Bobby is the current personnel committee chair, so I don't know if he had anything to say. We weren't at the last meeting, so.
No, I just, reading through the minutes of made sense to me, and I think, based on the discussions that we had, so.
You're in support of the.
Yeah.
Of what's been suggested as a result of our last meeting. Okay. Any other questions? Derek?
I just have one question, because with the alignment of the holidays was somewhat in keeping with what is the city's dates for their offices being closed, which impacted some of our employees who are sharing space there, I guess. I was just a little curious, was Lincoln's birthday one of those dates?
That was the one that I took out and we kept, so yes, that was one that the city gets that we did not.
Okay.
So we can have that conversation when we talk about additional benefits for employees. But right now, I did take that one back and just kept President's Day, especially since those 2 are back to back.
Because I was just curious if that would be any concerns, with, the district office is still staying open, but not having a. place
No,
for those folks to
they also
work or-
do, yeah, they also do Indigenous or Columbus Day, as they
Oh, okay.
continue to call it. They take that day off.
Mhm.
And so they take a number of other holidays that
okay.
that they've negotiated with their employee groups.
Right.
So,
Are
So we
we
can't
locked
be-
out on those days?
no, we're not locked out, or we have our own access to the public service. center.
Okay,
So, yeah,
okay.
it's just more of a
A perception.
grumbling morale issue at
Yeah.
times, when like, oh, the city's off and we're not, but but it's not long lived, and they're perfectly fine with that.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, we have access to our own side of that, yeah, we are full participants in the public service center, so,
Okay, sounds good.
yeah, it doesn't impact us at all.
Any other questions? And do we have any public comment on this?
No public comment.
Full public comment, and open it up for any other discussion before we entertain a motion on this particular item. Are there any other comments? Director Bernardo.
I just wanted to compliment the committee and the prior committee for all the work that has gone into this. This has been a labor of pure love because it can't be fun, but in any event.
Good run.
I do know that, all the work that has gone into it, so I wanted to compliment all of you on the result here. Certainly staff support has been important in all of this, as have been our attorneys, our legal counsel in that, so hats off to them as well to really modernize our program and bring us into the right century. Anyway, those are my comments. I just wanted to applaud the work that's gone into this.
Anybody else have any comment? Right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt this.
Bobby?
Sure, I'd go ahead and, I don't know what the formal action.
Just adopt the updated.
Just the, okay,
Updated.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the updated employee personnel policy handbook.
Second.
Vice Chair Tran seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll get full points from
All right.
Brittany this year. On our career.
And thank you. I was the recipient of that was.
Is that right?
After Vice Chair Tran and Director Glover were on the committee last year. And then, so I got the kind of the spillover effect where it was, oh, this is really good, but I got to take a look at
After
it.
they had to go through the slog.
Yeah, no, it was excellent work.
So,
Thank you.
I have a question. Capri does assign points for the type of.
Yeah,
things
so
that
we,
do?
so we have, every 18 months, they come through and they do, a review, an assessment, and it's a 100-point scale, and we've lost a couple points to our employee handbook being outdated, so I get those 2 points back, so I'm very excited about it. Our goal, Lance and I have a goal, we have a review in June, our goal is to get 100 this year, so nice.
All right, well, that's a
That's a
big
nice-
update.
Yeah.
The finish line has been crossed.
Yeah, that's excellent. All right, we will move on to item 7. Global report.
We didn't have any, and I'm just getting the budget. I have reached out to the city to request a district city liaison meeting. I have a meeting with the city manager tomorrow morning, so I'll get an update on that.
Yeah.
And then budget and finance, I'm gonna get some dates on the calendar for May for you, so look at it, because May will be your month.
All right. Well, moving right along. Move on to item 8, board announcements and requests to staff, and I'll start with Director Banana.
Let's see, gosh, what did I attend? Susie's, no. Wow. I had it right at the tip of my tongue.
Jump in there.
Thank you. It was because of the difficult Spanish word that I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
I attended that second show. I was impressed not only that we got repeat people to come, but also new people to come, including family. One family came. And I was impressed with the ideas that are beginning to come out from our design team, and the energy with which they were listening to the public as well. So I do hope that we can harness all of that into some support for a funding mechanism for that park. And anyway, I thought it was a great step forward. Yeah. And I'll be at the Easter egg hunt on Saturday morning with my umbrella, my slickers, and my raincoat.
Mhm.
It's the only way she did it.
Director Glover.
Yeah, nothing really. My apologies for, I've had an opportunity to talk to, Sheriff Vincent and Board Member Benato, but for the first time in 12 years, I just completely missed the meeting. I've been dealing with some issues with my eye and my neck, and I've been in and out of the hospital, but I literally, when Michelle sent me the text, I just was flabbergasted that, I had just completely missed the meeting, so my apologies and appreciate the understanding and, yeah, I'm bummed. I wish I was here. but-
We just wanted to make sure you were okay.
I know, I was like, Michelle's text,
I think it was because of leap year and we had 3 Thursdays in February.
Yeah,
you know?
I wish I could have blamed it on that, like I had jealous here, so, no, thank
You
you.
gave him a lifeline.
I think Michelle was about to roll over to the house.
If you wouldn't have gotten back to me, I literally would have went and knocked on the door. I don't have Nicole's information.
I'll give you her number. Thank you.
Well, yeah, we're glad to see you. Thank you. Director Worst.
Yeah, also not very much. My apologies for not being able to make the retirement celebration earlier today. I just had a lot going on at work, trying to get ready for spring break as well. But I'm gonna be missing out on the Easter festivities, unfortunately. I'm, kind of encouraged to see what, happens with those events coming up. And then, looking to prepare for the push in terms of getting people out in front of this bond opportunity and, getting volunteers identified and starting that effort. So just excited about the potential there. Already been kind of talking it up with individuals, so.
Thank you. Vice Chair Tran.
Yeah, no, not too much. Looking forward to some of the Easter festivities, both on ground and in water, so. I'll be there both of those. Yeah, and haven't been able to attend any of the Chivachinko charrettes just because my schedule has conflicted with those times, but at least word on the street or from that area in general, there's sort of been this new revival interest in civic life, not just from the park, but just a whole host of different things. With the upcoming sort of election as well too, I think there's just a renewed interest, and I'm happy to see that because it hasn't been there in the past, and that the fact that people are now more interested in what goes on in their city, especially from that area, I think is a very positive sign. I think that will really help our efforts in terms of the bond. So looking forward to this year and see how that comes out. That's it.
Thank you. It was a busy March for just a lot of different things that not related to Rec and Park, but some kind of related. I was at the Chilpancingo Park update also. It was fascinating to see what they came up with and how they did the presentation, and the folks that were there were really engaged with, well, and we can move, this here and I said, oh, yeah. So it was worthwhile. And I do expect to see some of those people when that group comes to our meeting, I believe at the end of April, for the presentation to the board. I think we may have some folks here for public comment to support whatever, design is their favorite. But it was really interesting. It was just nice to hear the comments that were said by, and some of the.
Can we give a shout out to Kat also for Katrina for the
Yes,
leadership that
yes.
she showed that night?
Yes, definitely. Katrina was, she was there, she introduced, she was engaging with the people that were there from the public, and it was nice to see. So she's definitely, from that standpoint, just observing, doing a good job of project.
As the project manager.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why it's good for me not to be there, because they all defer to me if I'm there.
No, she did not hesitate. So that was good to see, and thank you for reminding of that. I did attend both days of the Every 15 Minutes at College Park. it was very intense. My boys went through it at De La Salle, and I did not go down there when they went through it, but, it was interesting to be able to see how they did it, and with all the fire and police and CHP and various people that were around, the helicopter came in, just the enactment of this crash and what happens. And the students, they filed in, all the junior and seniors, and they were filled the bleachers at College Park. And it was interesting, you know, you didn't hear, I didn't hear any background laughing or talking, or they were very focused on what was happening. And then, so that was about 45 minutes or half an hour. It was maybe 40 minutes for the whole thing, maybe 45, but they had it timed. And people that are involved in that have done it before, so they really knew what they were doing. So the next morning, that was at noon. The next morning at 9:30, I believe it started, was the memorial service in the gym. Where again, they brought in the juniors and seniors, and there was a casket that was wheeled in, and there was a pastor there, and all kinds of things going on. And then they had a video of what happened, because they loaded the deceased person into the helicopter. No, that was one that was still alive, sorry. To take to John Muir Trauma. Well, they videotaped all that when they get there, and then they videotape at the coroner's office and all these things that you think, oh my gosh, you know, these kids are really having to think about what's going on. So they showed the video from the start of the noon on Thursday, and then what happened throughout the day in the various areas. So they put that together very quickly and then had it to show the students the next morning at this memorial. They also had a speaker of a former College Park student who was there and had been in a car accident as a result of, I believe, drugs and alcohol. He was not in high school at the time. He was a little bit out of high school, but he spoke. And he'd had, you know, severe brain damage and had issues and had to learn. He walked up, I think he used a cane, but he was very interesting, and then invited any students who wanted to talk to him after. So it was, again, the students were all very respectful, watching, listening. It was very well done, and I would recommend it when your kids get to that age, that because parents, I believe, have to sign off that it's okay for their kids to either participate and or, well, I don't know if they have to sign off for them just to see it, but maybe so. It's worthwhile. It's a worthwhile program. I'm sure they fine tuned it over the years, but I was very impressed. I'll be at the egg hunt and the underwater, which I haven't been to before, but I've been usually, Alan and I check in kids at the egg hunt, so that's fun. We've done that for a few years now. I also attended the PHBA poker tournament.
Did you?
Yeah.
The only female?
No, well, I was the only, I think, elected, invited person there.
Okay.
But it was interesting. I wanted to go because I thought, you know, I should go and just see. So Raul greeted us, and you know, a lot of the people from PHBA, and we stayed for maybe a little over an hour. We were
She just worked the room.
yeah, non-playing, but we watched. And because I played poker as a kid, and a young adult, but I haven't played poker in a long time, but it was interesting. You watch some of the other players, and there were probably, somebody made a comment, gee, there's no women there, but there were somebody said, oh no, the heavy hitters will be here. They will come a little while later. So there were probably, it was mainly male, but that was fine. And I think I would say there was probably half a dozen plus at the tables, or maybe close to 10 spread throughout. So this wasn't a casino night thing, it was it was all
It
poker,
was just a poker tournament.
just poker, which was interesting, just to observe and see what was happening. So I think they have to ask how, you know, how it went as a
Yeah.
fundraiser. But that was interesting. I am looking forward to the egg hunt. I think the morning will be, so far, it looks like we're not gonna get rain in the morning. And if there's rain at noon, or the kids are gonna be jumping in the pool anyway. So,
I didn't win any.
and we can deal with it. But that was a busy March,
Mhm.
but, and we don't have anything else.
And March not over yet.
Yeah. I will adjourn our meeting at 7:45, and our next meeting is April 11th. So it's good to see everybody. Have a wonderful Easter holiday with families. And we're done.
Thank you. Same to everybody. Happy Easter.
Yeah.